Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Skyblock Sun on the Siblings Den channel. My name is Wingless and welcome back to another session on Skyblock Sun. And oh boy, has it been a bit of a progress since the live session that we had a little bit ago. Day one on Saturday, it was just hectic trying to figure things out, try to move forward, and there's just so many things to figure out for this new season, season 8 of Skyblock Sun. In this episode though, I'm going to go over kind of what tips and tricks on what we did to reach past island level 100 to get ourselves moving forward. So we're going to give you some of the breakdowns of what we did. You'll see sort of the building stuff that we've done in the back, and we'll explain why some of those have been built, and just making our way to go from there. If you're looking for any ongoing live session events and are just crazy to see us and want to interact with us, don't hesitate to go into a live session with us. We like chatting, we'll voice chat, we'll have some of the team members and collaborators join, and Mort will be there once in a while as well. And she was there last time and it was really fun to kind of like see how we were progressing and going from there. So yeah, don't hesitate to join us, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we'll keep chiming out some new episodes for you. Yeah! With that said, let's talk about some of the changes that have occurred this season on Skyblock Sun, Season 8. Woo! At the moment, I'm standing on our little grinder platform. I'll show this a little bit later and just kind of one of the things that we've done to get some cash. But the first thing I want to talk about is the spawners. This season, they still act the same way as they did the last season in regards to how many that can exist within an area. For those that are on Java, if you do F3G together, you can spawn the grid, and you'll notice that spawners of the same type can still only work in one chunk at a time. The way that they spawn is the same way as last season, as well as anything from above to below. So long as the spawner is in that chunk and the mob is already existing, it will automatically spawn to that mob and the numbers will increase to that mob at that time. But here is the biggest change this season. You'll see that the layout, when you right click on your spawner, it'll show a little icon, show you the current level of your guardian spawner, which seems very normal. But you'll see in the third section of the information, it'll say spawners active. That's because this season, all spawner numbers and increases are tied to the island and no longer to a actual spawner itself. That means that when you level up on the island, it is only what is leveled up on the island. You can't just pick up a spawner of 200 and walk away with it and go to another island with it. The spawners themselves will only react to what is currently upgraded for the actual island itself. And the other change has been you can manage all of your island spawners themselves with now a new little icon in the corner called island spawners. When you select it, you'll see the breakdown of all of the spawners you've upgraded and which one you're going to interact with. Spawners of the same types are all leveled up at the same time, and the buff is shared between them. The more spawners you place, the slower each individual one will be. What that means is that, let's just say we'll use the guardian spawner at this moment as an example. The current level we have right now for this spawner at this island is 200 at this time. If we were going to place another guardian spawner somewhere on our island, what it would do is it would split the two's efforts, and it would end up being a level of 100 for the other one and 100 for this one. And so you end up having a separation of your resources every time you end up placing another spawner of the same kind. If it's a different kind, that doesn't matter. It's going to be the standard method from before where the numbers are different. But so long as it's the same type at a different location, it will be split. This is a huge difference to last season where you could have a specific spawner and have that multiply as much as possible. What this means though is that if you're looking to make a farm which involves multiple spawners in use, just be aware that your upgrades are specific for all of them. Now, this might be complicated for some people where they're used to having multiple spawners of different value, but the advantage to this as well is the fact that you could upgrade your general spawner numbers and not have to go to each individual spawner every single time to upgrade all of them. So there's a lot to look into on this, and you better believe it, we're going to look into seeing if we can make this profitable or not. We'll see. Maybe we'll have to change the meta. Who knows? However, this looks promising in regards to keeping things simple, in regards to upgrading things, especially when you're having a bigger setup that you have. Then it's just a matter of upgrading from the one menu section for the spawners as opposed to going to each individual one and having to upgrade each and every one over and over again. So this is a great example of the changes that have happened, and we'll see how this progresses and manipulates things this season on making it profitable or not profitable, or having to change into something completely different to what has been known for the last several seasons. I'm excited. Aren't you? Woo! The next additional change that's happened this season for Skyblock Sun is something that is familiar to those who've played Prisons, and that's skins. Skins are items that you get to keep between seasons, and what they do is they end up being usable on your character to look different, but additionally you'll end up getting any abilities that are relevant to those so long as the skin has an ability to them. At this time, this is broken up a little bit differently, but let's take a quick look at it now. To look at it, you go /skins and you enter it, and you'll end up having the UI for each of the different things that will have skins on. Right now we have none of them open, but you can select and see what type of skins that are available for each of the items. Predominantly, we're not going to go through all of the weapon ones at this time, but essentially any of the tools like pickaxe, shovel, sword, hoe, or an axe, the only one that has a special ability is the Sinful Miner's item. You'll see that there's a similar one all the time: Sinful Shovel, Sinful Sword. So they all have an ability, but all of the lower ones at this time, it's just a visual thing right now. There's nothing additional at this time for them. Now, that doesn't mean to say that the skins aren't worth it, but for the weapons right now, anything that isn't a legendary one doesn't really do much. That could sound like there's not really a reason to get any of the skins, but it's possible that some of the skins later on will have abilities, and it's a pending thing at this time. Just remember that this is the first season right now that they've just introduced these skins, and we might get more later, or they'll update some of the current skins to end up having abilities. So don't think of them as complete losses, but at least at this time, any of the ones that aren't legendary for weapons might not be useful. Now, what about the armors though? Well, this is where things get very particular. Each of the armors have the ability of setting yourself a cell booster increase all the way up to the legendary one. The legendary armors will have a special ability with them, but they're still going to be armor sets bonus once you can have the full set of armor. That means that if you have a particular set of, let's just say, silver armor, if you have the helmet skin, you've got the legging skin, you've got the armor chestplate skin, and you've got the boot skin, if you've got the whole set of the silver, that silver will give you a passive buff to your cell. In the case of the silver chestplate, you can get a cell booster of 0.1, and this goes from common to the rare ones that'll give you 0.25, to the epic ones that'll give you 0.5, all the way to the legendary once you have the full set that'll give you a full percentage more. Remember, these are skins that'll be able to stay with you, so if you've got a full set that you can use, go ahead and add it, and this is probably a good time that you'll want to trade with others to see if they have any sets or pieces that you might need, and you could trade evenly. All I can ask is that make sure that you are trading fairly with people, but also look to see if you can have a good breakdown of what you want to do at this time. Make sure to keep an eye on that, and it'll help you move forward. Now, those are the two major items that I wanted to discuss at this time. So the spawner changes as well as the addition to the skins are what's really going to change things up this season. We'll see how much this advances people and how things are moving forward. But now let's talk about what we've done to move forward ourselves for the island and what you can do as well to help yourselves. And what we'll do first is start with our farmers, robot farmers, that is. Yeah. So how do we start getting money quickly? Well, we started focusing on two types of robots: farmer robots and grinder robots. We'll go to the grinders later, but for now, let's focus on the farmers. Farmers are not the most efficient money making, but you yield much higher credits than lumberjacks, and so they are still very useful in regards to getting money, but you also would need to make sure that they're picking up the items that can give you the most out of it. And in this case, you can see that we've got a setup of cocoa beans for each of the layers. You'll see some of the layers are smaller and bigger. That's because originally had some gold robots, some iron robots that we were using at first, but then eventually we're able to get some more and we were able to merge them and get to the obsidian farmer robots. And those ones need more space to pick up a lot more of the beans and a lot more of the resources. And so that's what we progressed with those, so that we can maximize as much resources as we can. You can see at the moment that they're not farming, and that's because they're full right now. And I want to show you what an obsidian farmer can yield when you have not only the cell wand, but also the generator maxed out. And we're going to talk a little bit more about the generator, but just know that at this moment, our generator over there is overclocked, meaning we're getting 500% more yield than what we used to get. So let's go and see how much we can make from our farmers. So you'll see at the moment that I have the credits at 0.68. I think there's a little goof that happened, but basically I've removed all of the credits off of me. If we right click and take a look at the maxed obsidian farmer robot, you'll see that the value on it says 21 million from the 210,000 cocoa beans that are in the inventory. But with the cell one of 1.5, if we right click it, we see that we ended up getting 63 million out of that. Now that's great, but that could be more. If you end up using cell boosters, credit boosters of 2.0, this could have been 120 million. And with each farmer maxed out, you're looking at probably they get maxed out in about 20 to 30 minutes. But once they're maxed out and you get that, that's 120 plus another 120 plus another 120. So as much as robots that's working for you, you can get moving ahead in the millions to start upgrading your island. Now, the same thing can happen with grinder robots over there, but they yield potentially even more. But let's take a look at that. So right now, all of the robots that we have right here for the grinder are maxed out. And so what we're gonna do is take a look at them as well, see what they get from Guardian drops, and see how much money we make from those guys. As you can see, in a similar fashion, they're holding a lot less, but they're making just as much, if not a little bit more, than what the obsidian farmers are doing. So this is a rank lower as a grinder than it is for the farmers. And at this level, we're able to get a value of 28 million just as a base value. Once again, I've reset and put away all of the credits into the vault just to see how much, with a 1.5 multiplier cell wand, how much we can get from a maxed out emerald grinder with Guardian drops. So in this case, we got 71 million. And again, if we used a multiplier with that, we can get even more out of these guys. These as well will max themselves out in about 20 to 30 minutes. And so once you've sold all of them, you're able to get close to 500 million, 600 million. It just depends on the multiplier and the cell wands that you use. Now, cell wands are difficult and you can sometimes not get them. So if you're able to be resourceful or are able to get a lot of coins, you could get a infinite cell wand. If you don't have that kind of coin or money, or you're not looking to go that extreme, you can always check the auction house and buy some with shards, or if there's absolutely none in the auction house that are of any value or not worth it, you can also always go /s shop, and that option has loads of stuff that can help you purchase things that you need. So this is the shard shop, and if you're looking for cell wands, you can always buy them for 75,000 shards, but with only a use of 15,000, and this is only a 1.0 multiplier on these. What I recommend is you always check out the auction house, and you'll see that people are always selling them pretty cheap and at a much reasonable price, because a lot of these times, the people that are selling these are the ones that no longer need them because they have the infinite cell wand. And so you can always check it out, get the ones that are worth it, and be able to still have a cell wand available for you without needing to spend as much as 75,000 from the shard shop. But those options are there, and they will help you get as much as you can from your grinders, from your farmers, and from any other robots that you utilize. Now, we mentioned us using also the generator and the reason why our numbers were that high in the millions. Let's take a look at that. So similar to last season, we've overclocked our island generator. We were fortunate enough to get a lot of upgrades that helped us move forward, and basically all of the fuel that we're using is helping us push our robots and spawners much higher and much better than what it could be on their own. And this is a great way to increase the productivity of those items as much as possible. This reflects on the farmer robots, lumberjack robots, grinder robots, and the spawners. This does not impact the miner robots as far as I'm aware. Miner robots don't get impacted by the power as well. You'll just have them moving about and providing the resources to the cave explorer. So don't forget these guys, they're very low passive, but it's still worth keeping an eye on what they provide at the cave explorer. But let's go back to the island generator and how you set things up for yourself. When you have the island generator, you'll see that you'll have your output of how much you're able to make, and that's dependent on what you have it set as well. How much your island is consuming. So right now we have so many items that we are consuming 1.00 kilowatts, and then we have a surplus. So long as we have a surplus, we are able to maximize our spawner and robot efficiency at 500%. And that's only because our generator power plant is overclocked. Now you can click and cycle through being efficient and being standard. If you do standard, you're going to get about 200% if you have enough fuel and generators. If you do power efficiency, it's basically going to utilize your fuel more efficiently rather than when you're overclocked, where it uses your fuel inefficiently, but to accelerate everything. So at this time, each of our fuel will last 6 minutes and 41 seconds. This is different for every person because of how many generator upgrades you have placed into your island generator. If you're looking to overclock, your fuel might be a minute that it'll be cooked by the time it gets useful. And it also depends on how many spawners you've used, how many robots you use. Those still equate to more energy needed for your island. What you could do is take a look at your upgrades and what's been available and what you can manage. And in this case, you can see that we were lucky enough to get 9 mythical generators. We were able to get those upgrades from getting it from the crates that we got early on, as well as just upgrading the base ones to get a lot higher. And so at this time, we're doing okay. We could always do better and make our fuel more efficient, but this is what we have right now, and it's doing us well to increase the abilities for not only our farm, but for our grinder over there as well. Now, maybe you just don't have all of these upgrades as well. Well, it just means that you're going to have to use more fuel, and you're going to have to fuel up your generator more often as well. So this is where dungeons, as well as PvE mobs and carrot farming, can be useful for you. If you are dealing with dungeons and trying to find the chests, you'll see that when you defeat all of those mobs, you're going to get fuel during that process, and you can get a good amount of stack of fuel in a 30-minute dungeon session. So the minute that the dungeon's open and you've got your gear to go ahead and go into the dungeons. Unlike PvE, you do not drop your items when you're defeated in the dungeon. This is not the same for PvE, where you do lose your items, so you still have to be very careful in PvE when you're dealing with the mobs there. But in dungeons, you're going to be taken out of the dungeon, and you can spawn yourself right back in by doing /dungeons and try again with the next mobs. Make sure that your armor is not fully used up as well, because that could just mean that you're going to take a lot more damage, as well as whatever weapons you have, it might be overused. So be mindful of the durability of your armors and weapons, but go back into the dungeon and keep defeating those mobs, and just the mobs themselves will give you loads of fuel. And if you end up gathering quite a bit, you can even sell your surplus on the auction house, and usually a stack can go for like 1,000 or 2,000 shards. So take a look at the auction house in the miscellaneous section, and you'll see what the rate is going for the fuel. And if you've got extra, sell it. Make some shards out of that as well. So there's ways to get shards that you need for either upgrading your armor back to full by doing /fix, or end up moving forward with further generation that you need, so you stockpile it. That's why we have a little barrel beside our, so that we can put all the fuel there so we can move forward as much as possible. Very good to build up what you already have with your robots and getting the power going much more efficiently and much more productively for you. Now, I mentioned shards and how you need it for fixing, and you need it for upgrading, you need it for purchases. Well, how do you get those shards? Or is there another way to get shards other than just selling an AH? Yep, and that's grinding with a sword that has max soul on a blaze. Yep, it's the same as last time, but in this case, it'll help you out. We'll just show you an example very quickly. So right behind me, we have a little spawner thing, so it gets our blaze spawner in a corner, and then what we can do is go in there with our sword and just attack him with a sword that has souls upgraded onto it. We've maxed out 1, but even if you're just starting, you can upgrade it to 1 and then just start from there. But make sure to work on getting that upgraded, because you can grind without boosters. You can grind with your sword and end up getting shards that you need to purchase things and upgrade things. Similar to the dungeons and the amount of usage on it, if you start using it often, you're going to wear out the durability. So make sure that you're fixing it every so often. So yes, that's going to cost you shards as well, but if you have the blazes that are available there, you'll be able to get some usefulness out of that. You'll notice that they're kind of getting damaged, and that's because we have them dropped into water. And the reason we do that is that A, it weakens them a little bit more. While they're dying in the water, they'll be dropping some of their blaze rods, and they can go automatically in a collection box, or if you're using mob hoppers, it'll get picked up by that if it's connected to a chest. And so that lets us kind of pick up any passive stuff, but also any nearby drops that happens will go into our collection box in any way, shape, or form when they're being attacked. And so we do that just to collect any extras that we have that we can sell and make more money out of that. So that's good, but predominantly this is just a location so that we can go into our spot, go into the corner, and start grinding at them. As you see, it's a little smoky when they're there, but you can attack them while you're near them and gain experience, as well as gaining any additional stuff from them while you're using your sword as well. So yeah, that's been our method of getting some shards for us right now. We do some trades as well with other items that we get, and then we go from there. All of these are very useful, and it has gotten us moving forward for getting grinder robots that we need, getting the farmer robots that we need, and just building out our island slowly but surely into the direction that we need. And from there, we are going to move forward and see if we can keep going and level up higher and higher, and hopefully stay on top ranked, because right now we've been able to stay there for now, but we know that people are going to watch our videos or watch other people people's videos and just try things out. And we want you guys to do that. And if you find anything new and interesting, go for it. Maybe we'll feature it if we find out that that's the best way of doing it, and go from there. If you come to us with a new method and it works out, for sure we're going to shout you out. And so don't hesitate to message us if you're curious or want us to, get top #1, right? You want us to be top, right? I'm kidding. You make sure to get ahead as well, but definitely have fun, and we'll go from there. Now, here are some quick things that you shouldn't forget that we'll talk about now. Here are big things to not forget as well as you play on Skyblock Sun. Even if you're just doing things casually and you're not going to go as major and extreme, these are still things we highly recommend just to get passive items and passive upgrades for you. First thing to do is voting. Every 24 hours, you should do the voting. It helps the server, it helps you. You get vote keys. Vote keys translate to additional resources. You can potentially get robots, potentially get more shards, more items, and it's always useful to get those out. So it's very much worth it to vote. Once you've voted, do /G-Kits. This will give you another thing to select and be able to get you an extra key as well as a few positive boosters that can help you. You can either keep those boosters and use them when you need them, or you can extract them and sell them on auction house to make more shards, because there's some people that are looking for those as well. Either it's shard boosters, spawner boosters, or credit boosters. So don't hesitate to look at that and make sure that all that is extra stuff for you for free just by voting. And additionally, when you vote, you also get a chance to have giveaway tickets that you can do /giveaway and be part of the giveaway, potentially get more stuff. And even more so, if you vote more than enough, you end up getting multipliers of those votes that can eventually get you extra keys, even gold coins. One of the earlier videos I mentioned on how you can get free ranks and free gold coins, and that's using a lot of the times just voting and letting those multipliers go through. So take a look at that video as well if you want a bigger detail of that, but even more reason why you should be voting. We mentioned G-Kits, but also if you've been ranking up and you're getting higher ranks, don't forget that every 24 hours you get a rank kit as well. /Kits, so not G-Kits this time, just /Kits, Kits. This gets you random kits that you can utilize each and every time. Now, what's the point of getting these if you've got maybe the higher armor already? Well, each time you select them, you get a pouch. Each pouch can get you more shards, more booster, more credits, and all of that is useful, and it is free for you every 24 hours. The more ranks you have, the more that you can go through all of those every 24 hours and get those bonuses to help you. It might not be a lot right from the get-go, but when you do that every 24 hours, this is going to be very useful for you. Don't hesitate on that whatsoever. Last but not least, don't hesitate to look at the auction house. The auction house has multiple options for you to get loads of items. Like if you go to blocks, you'll see that there's sometimes spawners or collection boxes, and even people selling gold coins for shards. If you're willing to grind for a little bit, you can make sure to get gold coins and do upgrades yourself for higher ranks or other items that you might need. Be careful to watch out for people that are trying to just see if they can get extra stuff just for the sake of it. Remember that you can utilize /shop for any basic items, but any of the actual server items, like for example, you've got this rare generator that can help with upgrades. This could give you 4% efficiency, power boost, and capacity. Well, this will be worth it if you're looking to do the higher generators for you. Other areas you can get extra robots that are higher that you just don't have available. So this is a way of getting extra items. You can also get kits that other people can sell, and they can end up having a usefulness for you as well. You can also sell your own kits if you're looking to make just a few extra shards. These are just a few of the things that'll help you, as well as gauge you as to what the value of your items are. If you're not sure about something, check out Auction House, get an idea of how much it might be worth, and you'll get a better idea and sense of what you could probably sell your item or what you could do with those items. If you know that you want to sell it really quickly, maybe you can do it under what the prices are being listed on the auction house. If you don't mind waiting, you could keep it at the same rate as other ones, or just do a very, very minimal decrease and just wait on it, and eventually someone is going to see it as still being the lowest one out of the other ones and end up buying it. So all of that's worth it for you. And those are all the tips and information we have that can help you get past island level 100 like we did at this season of Skyblock Sun Season 8. We hope that this information will help you out. Hope that you're enjoying this season so far. I know it's just started, but we look forward to seeing a lot of people move themselves forward and seeing how far they can go this season. But there's loads of things that you can do as well. If there's any questions or comments that you want, make sure to subscribe, leave those comments, and let us know, and we'll be glad to answer you in any way, shape, or form that we can. If you haven't already already joined our Discord channel and want to talk to us on a somewhat regular basis, go ahead and join up there. The link to join is in the description. We'll be glad to have you added. Just make sure to review the rules of the Discord channel before you can proceed further. Last but not least, if there's anything you would like content-wise on the Siblings Den channel, let us know. We are glad to look into things. We are still progressing and aiming to build out other content as well, and not just MCHub content. But if there's anything that you think that will be great with Mort and myself, let us know and we'll be glad to review it and potentially do content on it. And we have the time for it. So let us know. We're always glad to hear from you guys. With that, have yourselves a wonderful day. Make sure to have fun, and we'll see you all later. Woo! Boop, boop, boop. Got a little person on my head. Boop, 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 boop. His name is your boy Venom's. Boop, boop, boop. Little guy. Boop, boop, boop. He's so tiny.